For the first time in 21 years, there is a back-to-back NFC East champion, and it is your Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Yes, 29-19. Most of what Reuben Frank said, 29-18. I tried, Reuben. I tried to change the score. 29-18 as the Eagles beat the Washington Commanders. They are the back-to-back NFC East champions.
All right, way to go, Bird.
Nice job by the Philadelphia Eagles. And don't get me wrong, as we welcome you to Eagles Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. These are games that try fans' souls. These are games that try all of our souls, because there were issues, no doubt. We're going to get into those, but you got to give them major props. 10-5 record. They're still alive for everything they hope to accomplish, which is another repeat down the road, Barrett.
I don't want to talk about anything negative. They won the game, and that's all we want to do. They locked up at least the NFC East. They locked up a position in the playoffs, so they're good. We're good. We qualify for the playoffs. Let's keep moving forward.
Jawsy?
It's hard to win a game in the National Football League. It's hard to get a first down sometimes. It's sometimes hard to get open and catch a ball. It's sometimes hard to block somebody. The fact that in the 21 years before a team became back-to-back NFC champions, I applaud this football team and this organization. It is a great, great job. Well done.
That's a great point. That's well said. How difficult that is to do.
It's hard.
Jason Avant, your thoughts as the Eagles are back-to-back division winners?
Thoughts overall is that the offense is coming together. They are able to do some things under center, but they were also to run an empty set that was successful, getting A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith on linebackers, Wagner making some explosive plays there. And then you've seen the offensive line execute some double-team blocks to get up to the second level, and therefore, Saquon goes for over 130 yards and has touchdowns. And I know Rube is excited about his bold hitting today of being over 200 yards. That goes with the offensive line and the marrying of using Hurts in the run game, but the receivers in different spots. I love that A.J. Brown's that second and a third inside receiver at times, making it off balance.
Reuben?
Yeah, I just think of resilience with this team. They lost back-to-back games in ugly fashion early with the Giants game, Denver and the Giants, and then won 4 in a row. And then they had those 3 losses that were all in just kind of nightmare fashion, blowing a 21-point lead, giving up all those rushing yards to the Bears. And then they won the next 2. And these aren't great teams that they beat, but they beat them. They did what they had to do. They took care of business. And this team really responds to adversity. And I think it's something Nick is very, very good at, is guiding him through that and navigating him when things aren't going well. And they wouldn't be here at 10-5 if they hadn't responded in a positive way.
This team responds to adversity. It's the bottom line.
Yeah, that is the bottom line. But I like the way they responded to the physicality that the Washington Commanders tried to go to them. They wanted to come out and try to out-push those guys around. But then you turn around, they did the same to them. I mean, Jordan Davis, if he didn't win a Pro Bowl in this game today, there shouldn't be another tackle right now that you say playing better than Jordan Davis. He is balling right now. He should be in the Pro Bowl this year.
Jordan Davis, 4 tackles, 2 assists, and then getting to the quarterback. He was a beast this afternoon and tonight. He really was.
And Jalen Hurts, another rock-solid game. Jason alluded to the fact they came out that spread-style offense, no one in the backfield, spread it out 5 wide. I thought it really impacted the Washington defense. They didn't know what the heck to do. They were playing base defense against a 5-wide look, and they just got shredded. Once again, Jalen has a solid game, no interceptions, doesn't turn the football over. I thought he was outstanding.
All right, here's a look at the playoff picture. As the Eagles clinch the NFC East, they clinch a playoff berth, obviously, with that. The Dallas Cowboys are out. They're nowhere on the map right there. I'm sorry, Dallas. You'll have to try another 20 years.
So they're not going to lose their annual wild card game this year.
They're not going to do it. So the division leaders right now, the division winners, the Eagles clinch, and the Seahawks are there. The Bears and Packers playing later, and then Tampa Bay and the wild card teams are the Rams, the Giants, and the Packers currently. I'm sorry, did I say I meant Niners. And then in the hunt, the Lions and the Panthers. You look at that, the Eagles could very well end up playing the Rams in that first round, right?
It's possible. Mm-hmm. I mean, anything's open.
They still got 2 games left, John, so let's not look ahead.
I'm not looking ahead. I'm trying not to.
And Nick Sirianni, the 5th coach in history to take his first 5 teams to the playoffs.
That's remarkable.
Unbelievable.
That.
I mean, that kind of consistency to do it year in and year out. And obviously they weren't all successful, but you're talking about elite company. Paul Brown, Chuck Knox, John Harbaugh, and who's the fourth one?
Paul Brown, Chuck Knox.
And Bill Cowher, who Barrett.
My guy.
Barrett played under Cowher. He played under Harbaugh, and Jaws played under Paul Brown.
No, I played with Bill Cowher. He was our special teams captain. I'll help you out, Rube.
Yeah, he played with him.
But no, we're talking about 2
He tried
Hall
to
of
slide
Fame.
one by me, you know.
I mean, Harbs will probably be a Hall of Famer. That's 3 Hall of Famers, and Chuck Knox. It's incredible company to do it year after year after year. And look, there was a lot of people looking at Jeff Lurie askance when they hired Nick Sirianni. I was a guy who nobody knew about him. He had that first press conference. Everybody's laughing at him. The proof is in the pudding. 5 years in a row. That just doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't happen. And I think you mentioned Jeffrey Lurie with regard to ownership, and he once referred to his franchise as the gold standard, and then it took a dip after that, and some people were laughing down their sleeves at it. But the fact is, the Eagles are the gold standard in
Just
the
took
NFL.
a while.
Well, you know what? It took a while, but it stuck, and they're here. And still, when you look at 20 years, which just passed, now we're in the 21st. 20 years, the Eagles won 8 NFC East championships. And when you look at, I know the Giants, we were talking pregame, got the 2 Super Bowls. Birds have the 2 Super Bowls as well. Washington, Dallas, the Giants, they're not in there the way the Eagles are in there. And now the repeat for the first time in 21 years. That says something very special. And
they're
forever.
not going away. They are not going anywhere.
Well, Miss Lurie's made the Philadelphia Eagles brand and the team a destination for players. Players look at it. You hear Max Crosby interview on his podcast this week talking about he can feel the energy of Philadelphia and how he respects the fans and how it was like a pleasure to play with that type of fan base. And you see Micah Parsons talking about those types of things just around the league. The other players want to play here, and I think that goes to what Mr. Lurie has built in the brand of the Philadelphia Eagles. And also, just over the last 2 months, the most searched for team in the NFL, Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
The culture is phenomenal. And also throwing Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman knows how to build a football team. And I've said it for years that I've watched this team, and you guys probably feel the same way. You build your football team to the line of scrimmage. In the pits, down the trenches where the big boys play.
Yep.
And that's always been
Barrett loves that kind of talk.
That's where you win football games. Down there with the big uglies, whatever you want to call them, fancy names. The line of scrimmage on offense and defense, those two lines, you win championships by winning those.
If you have the best owner in football, the best GM in football, head coach who's won 70% of his games, been to 2 Super Bowls, won 1, and a Super Bowl MVP caliber quarterback, if you have those 4 things in place, you're going to win most of your games.
Yeah. Look at Jalen Hurts leaving the field in Landover, Maryland, heading to the playoffs for the 5th time in a 5-year career. Of course, you couldn't tell if he won or if he lost. He's stoic, as always, going off the field. And this guy has led this franchise, and he has suffered the slings and arrows of what the fans have said, what the media has said.
That's 2 Shakespeare
Well, you know what?
references.
I'm very
And we just went
Shakespearean
on the
tonight,
air.
man. I mean that. And to watch what he has done, by any means necessary, he will do what it takes to win a game.
I mean, just like you say, same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. You're going to get all the rah-rah, and you did a great job, but you're also going to get, hey, you killing this team, we need to cut you, we need to trade you. Where's the backup quarterback? He has had all that. He had a full gambit this entire year of the ups and downs of how this Eagles organization is going, and he's took it upon himself and pushed forward and put him on his back and say, hey, we're just going to keep riding. We're going to cut out all the noise we're seeing here on our show, pre- and post-game live. We're going to take all that and still go forward to win games.
As a quarterback, you get too much credit when you win and too much to blame when you lose. I lived that for 10 years. It's just the way it is. It's not going to change. And Jason knows how to, and Jalen knows how to handle it no matter what comes his way.
Yeah.
I think you deserved a lot of that criticism, actually.
I think it's more the applause I deserve more of.
Just kidding.
I think he deserves it. Don't make him come over there. He'll bring Barrett.
In 2 games,
I got Barrett with me.
in 2 games since that Chargers, it was probably the worst game of his career, right? He's got 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, no turnovers, completed 78% of his passes.
Yeah, he's been efficient with the ball and putting the ball on the money. That touchdown to Dallas Goedert, you couldn't have put that ball in a better position there. Stepped up into the pocket, got it over, Mikey Samerstill and the safety there. So that was awesome. The dime to Devontae Smith on the drop touchdown. So Jalen is putting the ball in these last 2 weeks in a perfect position and not putting in harm's way. That's one thing you ask from a quarterback. And he's decisive, Jalen. You don't see him just holding the ball. He has a plan. The ball is coming out. And so that's a good job between him and Kevin Patullo, whoever is in the offensive meeting room, whether it's Nick Sirianni. We don't know. We don't know. But it looks a little bit different. We called it out upstairs. Me and Mohorn watches the game together. That's our producer. And we were just talking about AJ in different positions and coming in motion. Similar plays. They're just adding little wrinkles that make the defense second.
Who's adding?
We don't know who's
doing it. That's the problem right there. We don't know who's doing it.
But somebody is, and it's working out.
Well, I mean, look at it. We went into this last game, the game before this, we had 13 personnel, going down the entire drive. We go in and score the first drive. That's last week. This week we're coming out, we're going, empty backfield. I mean, we didn't do that. How do we do that successfully? That's them putting variations in the offense. So now, for the next 2 games, they were like, man, what are we going to stop now? They're going to come out with this formation, and then they turn around and they move, and these guys are now in the empty. Well, they might have to call timeout now. They're just putting a lot of stuff out there, flooding everybody, all these defensive coordinators now. You have to sit back and, all right, what are we going to evaluate? How are we going to do this? How are we going to guard that? And I love that aspect of the game now.
Handshakes at the end of the game. A.J. Brown and his 9 catches for 95 yards. Shaking hands with their Commanders counterparts. Mikey Samerstill, who was in there on every play, it seemed like, for Washington. He's a Michigan guy, Mr. Avant, as you know. And look, this is a rivalry, and you saw at the end of the game when Tyler Steen got thrown out of the game and 2 Washington players.
Tyler Steen wanted to take on the entire state of Maryland. I love it.
It looked like he was
went
doing
right
that
after
for
the little guy.
That's what you got the white go against the big guy.
He went right to Mikey Samerstill. He avoided all the 90 numbers.
Wait. He's not in Michigan anymore. You know that, right?
All the big guys moved away.
He's in the NFL.
He went for a little guy.
So why go against a big guy? I go fight against this guy also.
He had 6 guys around.
No, it was after he punched the little guy. The big guy
well, he's a feisty little guy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and we've been positive on this team all season long, of course, and certainly
No, we
tonight.
haven't.
Well,
we lost 3 in a row. We won.
I think we've assessed them accurately.
Thank you.
And I do think that, I know Barrett doesn't want to hear anything negative. They are the 2-time reigning NFC East champions, and that's all well and good. They may still become Super Bowl champions for the 2nd consecutive year. That possibility eminently exists. But the fact is that first half was a horror show. Okay?
Hey,
put the phone down.
Howie.
Hang on,
Howie, where's the next kicker coming from? I need to. Can I call?
There you go.
Don't give me that. Oh no,
Positive.
That's some.
He said you were going to be positive.
I'm trying to, because three times, three field goals. We cannot win with that in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We can't do it.
Well, in the playoffs, he's been money, though.
I'm not trying to hear money. You can't get to the playoffs doing that.
But here's the thing, and it's not just Jake Elliott, who is a fan favorite, who is one of the few Eagles players that has 2 rings, so he's done it.
I want another
along
one.
with Brandon Graham. So this guy, when you talk about him, people usually smile. Not so much tonight. And what happens, because you got to make the kicks when you're called upon to do it, and he didn't do that 3 times tonight, including an immediate do-over. And we were watching together. It was, he's going to make this. I thought he was too.
7 field goals in his last 9 games.
7 in the last 9 games.
First Eagle kicker to do that since Chris Bonial.
Whoa.
1997.
Guy I played with, I played 97. I played with Chris, and there was times, he didn't want to come into the locker room and take a shower, especially when we was down there in Dallas, and it wasn't even his fault. But, you just can't do that. From a kicker, you get paid to kick. You should be kicking all day long, kicking in your sleep. That's what you get paid to do. So I mean, I don't understand this.
For
I
Mr.
don't-
Positivity, you've turned really quick.
Oh, my goodness.
You're a positivity bunny there for a while.
Good thing we're not being negative.
No, whenever there's a ball position, whether you're a kicker and you're out there by yourself or you're a receiver where people can see where the ball is going, quarterback, wherever it is, you're going to have times where it's Jalen Hurts and you have a game where you have 4 interceptions. You have a game like this where you missed 3 field goals or 2 field goals, 1 didn't count. You're going to have times like this as a receiver. A.J. Brown last game or a couple games ago against the Chargers where you drop balls. You're going to have them. It's all about can he respond? The one thing I will say about Jake is that in the playoffs and when it's been money, Jake has always responded. So I'm not overly concerned about him just because of his history of being there when it counts.
But he's made those after seasons when he's been a 90% kicker.
All right. Howie, I'm sorry, Howie. Retract that. Let's give him another chance, okay?
I'm going with you on that because he has a history, and it's been a good
2
one.
years now. He's the worst kicker in the NFL over the last 2 years.
Okay, so are they going to bring someone? In all seriousness,
I think it's a valid
bring
question.
Somebody into camp to practice.
I would bring some guys in for workouts at least, see how they kick. I don't want to go to the postseason with a guy who can't make a kick.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying bring him in now?
Yeah. Give some guys some tryouts.
We're still alive and everything. Or
I don't know if now is right.
Bring in some of them Zendejas brothers or something.
If I'd have gave up a sack,
Aren't they
3 sacks in one game. If I'd gave up 3 sacks in one game, the week before I gave up 2 sacks, they'd have somebody meeting me at the door. I mean, I'd be sharing a locker with somebody as he's working out to replace me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just how the NFL is. What have you done for me lately?
What if it was Lane though? What if it was Lane?
Lane don't do stuff like that.
No, what I'm saying,
but what if it was?
I'm just saying, what if Lane had a position? But last time we saw Lane, Aiden Hutchinson
cannot
was
say
giving Lane the work, right? So no, I'm just saying, what if it was though? That's what I'm saying. Jake has earned the ability to be able to have some ups and some downs, and we stick with them.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
We were stuck in the last 2 years.
And in philosophy, I agree with that. But if it could cost us, and we don't have to make that decision. We have our opinion, but Howie's going to make a very difficult decision because you can't win the playoffs. Literally every game is, a 3-point game. So you got to have your kicker that you can count on every single time.
Already cost him the Chargers game.
Yeah.
He makes that field goal in the Chargers game, doesn't go overtime.
Right.
And kickers are kicking
maybe
not 60
not
yards all the
5
time.
turnovers.
That would have helped.
Yeah,
us.
I think that would help more.
Well. Also, there's Will. I got to take a break, but Will Shipley didn't help the start of the game
of course
either.
not.
So, and then I'm thinking about Mike Clay, who's the special teams coach. And I'm just asking,
In the Rams,
the Rams.
The Rams special teams coordinator just got fired. Chase Blackburn.
Michael Clay's a heck of a coach, though.
Okay.
Yeah, you.
There you go.
Very good coach.
We got to take a quick timeout. We've got all your interviews coming for you. You know that. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley and Jordan Davis and Cooper DeJean. Everybody in this big win for the Eagles, and they are 2-time reigning NFC East champions with everything ahead of them.